Had enough supplies. Spotted. Machine's onto me. dead machine. It must be a bristleback. Maybe Errand took it down? Ground soaked with acid. Did the bristlebacks do this? It must be chain scrape. Jaruf said I could get my bow upgraded in there. Might be able to tinker with my other gear, too.
Outlander approaching. Is that the savior?
The cook should know what to do with this.
Wanna come in, savior? Welcome to Chainscrape, Savior.
Open up, guys. Jorv's orders.
Good enough for me.
By the Forge.
Petra?
Aloy, what are you doing here? About time there was something worth looking at in this dump.
It's nice to see you, too.
And not a moment too soon. Come on. Damn brewery's the only thing I can count on in this place.
Yeah, I heard. Machines, work stoppage.
Oh, those are just the latest malfunctions. Chainscrape's always been a few tools short of a kit. And right there is the biggest tool of all.
Our land, not our problem.
The bristlebacks are everybody's problem.
Roland?
You've heard of him,
Yeah.
but he's a story best told over a cold beer.
Petra. I'm just passing through. I'm headed west.
Oh,
There's an embassy at Barren Light I need to make happen, and then I keep moving.
ah, of course. Bigger gears to grind. Well, Flamehair, good to see you. You've got to move on.
Petra.
But if you want a cold beer and a few laughs with an old friend, come find me at the brewery. Your choice.
Well, this Olvan guy sounds like trouble. Maybe Petra could use some support. But first things first, I need to find that workbench and upgrade my bow.
How am I supposed to work with a hammer in this state?
Cool. Till Oven blows that whistle, no one's working it.
fear, my lady. You have found me.
This should be useful. Now I just need to find Erend and help him clear the bristlebacks.
I'm on fire today.
Unless Colvin and his cronies hear about
Excuse me. I believe I was informed you were... Open your eyes.
Shop looks closed.
it. Yep.
Can I still use the workbench?
I ain't gonna stop you.
Never met a beer I didn't know.
Heard the Tanakh might be opening up the border. Imagine the possibilities. What's wrong with my
Just because you keep blurring out doesn't mean you're off the...
If I were a Silverman, I would salute you.
Don't pull that face.
Help Corvin and the others.
What happened to you?
That damn mine won't be the last injury if Olvin keeps shoving those tongs
What mine?
northeast of Chain Scrape, where the river ends. I told Corvin we should stop when the first cave-in happened, but Olvin probably threatened to...
How about you slow down? You mentioned...
Yeah, Corvin and the as soon as they're might have dodged. We were pushing too...
And you're afraid...
Mm-hmm.
How...
Try telling he brought in all the fire and spit.
I could check in...
I...
I'll drink you under the table.
Hey, Mildev. Mildev. I took some of your stew last time I went into the wilds. Kept me going for... Felt like I enjoy it well.
Sounds like you're serving up some... I think...
Oven.
No.
Oh,
Some of your...
of course.
Your last rhyme.
I would be happy.
But...
But without it, even if... Unless...
What?
For... Until... You like... Don't worry. You... So,
Thanks, Milt.
so that's...
And...
If you say so. Ah, hello again.
About... Are all...
Oh, yeah, but the... And don't...
And...
I make meals.
What did...
A corrugated metal pan. I can use... And for the dish itself, then I can get cooked.
How did
Heard about a new... So, some of these... Anyway,
I should...
right.
Already got enough meat and bitter leaf. Just need to grab a metal panel for the scavenger pile.
How goes it, Hammerhead?
We are on the same side here, folks. The bristles threaten us all.
Oh, drop the act. You don't know it was the Carja who let the bristlebacks
Chain scrape might not look like much.
through
but
the
our
gates
forges are
of barren
first.
light. What do you mind if you remove this?
Hi. We...
Very well.
So,
Maybe.
I've heard many tales of your beauty, Olfant free. So, smudge of a settle. Your savior,
I'm here for the embassy.
the embassy. Ah,
Once I've dealt with it.
the brick up to get rid of, well,
Not so fast. You...
indeed, until I'm not.
Fair deal.
It's not, it's all for a land
Right.
only an amount of.
You don't...
Well, when my noble, nobody had everything I've.
And where is this hammer now?
The, burden, the Carja, someone had to.
Where's the whistle?
Right in, but with this,
I'm going...
if that
Just...
still here,
If...
the sense
see
you
what that
think a
Carja magistrate
Carja can
wanted.
head. The match.
So you have no real authority then?
Anyone who has followers has authority. I mean, and it's on.
You said...
I alone saw it. I invested in the mine, convinced some friends back home to do the same, and here we are. You could say chain scrape is what it is, thanks to me.
Oh, so you're not just standing around and profiting off...
Not at all. Sure, I mean, but my main priority as is to look after the well-being of these.
I have other places to be.
By all means.
Well, well. If it isn't Scrappy.
Ah, Savior! Over here!
Savior, my... It's come, but the louder, the more...
How...
No one, but unless I don't...
No.
The only way... Look. Help me.
What is the...
He only...
Let me...
Exactly. He could...
He...
No. And
How d...
I asked for the posting, believe it or not. Overseeing it was...
But your job would like...
Alva. He's been... Well, I have...
How did...
Look around. This claim also well. And with the Alvant has...
And if the...
Correct. The...
You said the bristle...
Yes. Said he took...
Good place.
If you look... Maybe... And maybe...
Come. I was just...
First time? Well, aren't you in luck then? I got an extra. Sit, 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 sit. I'll give you something special if you win it on my boards, too. right, let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine is worth a different number of victory points. And to win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines. It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of them. You see that number on the top right corner? That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine. Notes also tell you how far a piece can move, how powerful their attacks are, the distance they can strike from, and of course, their health. Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just play. I'll explain the rest as we go. I own the board, so I get to choose who goes first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go. Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward. And remember, each machine can only move a certain distance. Take a look at your notes if you need a reminder. Easy enough, huh? Now, you get to move 2 machines each round, so go ahead and pick a second machine. Perfect. There's not much else to do for now, so just end your turn. We're forging onward. And we're back to you. This time, why don't you try attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first. Now move the piece close enough to when performing an attack, you'll be testing your machine's combat power against the opponent's. And its own attack power. This board only has grassland terrain, which has no effect on a machine's combat power. And your current machine has 2 points of attack power. So in total, your machine's combat power equals 2 points. Since my machine isn't the one attacking, it has 0 points of attack power. And just like your machine, it's not affected by grassland terrain. So right now, the difference in combat power between the 2 machines is 2 points. This means your machine can do 2 points of damage to my machine. Did you get all that? Knew you were a smart one. Finish up. Not pulling any punches, huh? Now grab that second machine of yours. See how your machine can't move close enough to attack mine? You can make your machine sprint. That lets it move 1 space further. Try it out. Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack. Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in cases like this. Overcharging lets you attack after a sprint, but it will damage your machine's health by 2 points. So use at your own discretion. Let's try doing that now so you can see what I mean. That's about it for your turn, then. Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there, and you'll do some damage, but not a lot. Now, red shows the machine's weak points. Hit those, and you'll deal a mighty blow. Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Now let that machine have it. Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved yet. Go ahead and move downwards towards my remaining piece. You've already attacked a machine and moved your piece. But if you overcharge your machine, you can attack a second time. And by the look of your machine's health, you'd be sacrificing your piece to defeat mine. But sometimes, that can be a good thing. Overcharge your machine to attack mine a second time, and I'll show you what I mean. Ain't that a thrill? Now, because your machine was knocked out at the same time as mine, we both get the victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, since you're the one attacking, you're gonna receive your victory points before I do. Which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory points first. That's why sometimes losing a piece can be the best way to end a game in your favor. Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7 victory points this time, but you did destroy all my pieces. That means you're the winner! That wasn't so hard, was it? Just remember to always check for the best terrain to attack from. You'd be surprised the advantage you can gain over an opponent like that. I know it saved my behind in a game or two.
I'll try and remember that.
Oh, before I forget, these are all my spare pieces. I want the Savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be sure, but it should be enough to get you in on any strike games you find out there. You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces that can turn a game in your favor, though they'll need the right materials to craft you one. Or you might find them in the wilds if you're lucky. You know, I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of machine hunting or brew hopping. No need to thank me. Always a pleasure to help out new strike players. Now, if you feel like playing a real game, I've got plenty of other boards. I could even teach you a few more tricks if you're up for it.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet. How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain to your advantage? This one's got all the different terrains you can encounter in a game of Strike. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between victory. Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat power. As you know, when fighting an opponent's machine, you compare its combat power to yours. The higher your machine's combat power, the more damage you can do. So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machines. Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it's standing on. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's also standing on forest terrain. Add those together, my machine is standing on grassland terrain with a value. It's also not attacking, which means their attack points aren't in play. So my combat power is 0. This means your machine can do 3 points. Go ahead and test it out. There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve your offense. It can also help defend your machines from attack. Grab your other piece and place it in front of my second machine. Since your machine, it's standing on grassland terrain, this terrain has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack powers since they're defending their position. but they have the higher ground. They're standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack has armor protecting it, which means my machine gets an extra point, giving it a total of 2 combat power points. If we compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat power, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses instead. Go ahead, try it out and see what happens. Ha, see? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines will receive 1 point of damage, but knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attack. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving backwards, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces, that machine would have received damage as well. That's why breaking a machine's defenses is a great way to deal damage to several pieces at once. Useful, right? Okay, now go ahead and end your turn. There's still one more thing I want to show you. All right, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are 2 other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering from me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play. Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board. With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power they have. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type and skill. Let's take a quick look, shall we? Pick up that machine on your left. All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponents. In other words, its machine type. If you look at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee type. You can also tell by the shape of the bait. A melee-type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff. Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner-type machine here. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest of the pieces. Just end your turn, okay? Let's go with... This is a ram-type machine. Attack an enemy with it, and it'll push the piece backwards. Like this. See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot on the board. This is a great way to take your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a beauty of a piece, a dash-type machine. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the races. You should also make sure it's able to finish its attack on an empty spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all. Here, I'll show you. Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll notice this particular machine has one of the skills I mentioned before. There's quite a few of those, and we haven't even looked, but I'm pretty sure you've got more important things to do, so I made you a list. It's got all the tips and tricks we talked about. I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play a real game, just let... Good luck. Board's all yours. Come up. That's it for me. Fight ahead of me. My turn. Well, that's done now. Time to get serious. Oh, I won! Probably shouldn't sound so surprised, huh? All right, the Tanakh we each get, and each you'll need. It can be tricky, remember? So you see that enough help the distance they can strike. And okay, that since this is your first, usually pick up. Indicate here. Okay. Let's do this. You're up, Red. Time to make my move. Your turn. You got me down to one piece. I am impressed. Your move, Red. I was hoping you wouldn't do that. Looks like I lost. Let's play. Okay, let's see. Your move, Red. My turn. That's it for me. I'm up. Your turn. Knocked right off the board. Okay, let's see. board's all yours. One less piece on the board. Time to get serious. Ah, off the board it goes. Just one piece left. That sure dampens the forge. Time. That was brutal. You got me, fair and square. Here we go. Time to make my move. You're up, Red. Off the board it goes. I'm up. Thank the forge you hit armor. Well, that's done now. Okay, let's see. One less piece on the board. That was brutal. My turn. Your move, Red. You are on a roll. Knocked right off the board. Time to get serious. Off the board it goes. Oh, I thought I had that one.